एकजना अतिथिलाई यहाँहरुको बीचमा आमन्त्रण गर्न गइरहेको छु. So he is a volunteer teacher and he has also the deep passion in Eastern philosophy and doing his study from Valmiki campus, Kathmandu. So may I request Alexander to just share his experience, how he spent his life in ashram and what he regards as the philosophy, Eastern philosophy, the better in his perception. Alexander, may I request him to come on the dash and share his experience, please, in short.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's wonderful to be here. Ramchandra Das asked me to really write about the yoga of Sri Aurobindo, so that's really what I'll do. I mean, if I was to tell you everything that I felt and had learnt since I'd been in the ashram, I would be here for a few hours, and I've only got about 5 minutes at the most. So, regarding Sri Aurobindo, as Deepak was saying, you know, I've studied a great deal of the Eastern philosophies, and the more I've read about Sri Aurobindo, I realize we really all should know about this extraordinary man, who wasn't merely a rishi or a saint or a prophet. He was, I believe, an avatar sent by God. We should become intimate with his work because he leads us. Swamiji's life, after traveling as a young boy and then as a sadhu through India, was when he went to Pondicherry. And that's no surprise. Because there he discovered Sri Aurobindo and the mother. That was the turning point in his life. And the same thing has happened to many people even that I know. Many of them great people in their own right, accomplished spiritual seekers, great academics and sadhus. When they discovered Sri Aurobindo, they found their master. They found the master. So who was he? He wasn't only a spiritual luminary or light. He was also one of the greatest writers and poets of the last century. He would read a book a day. He would write 6 books concurrently at the same time without preparation. To say he was a genius is underestimating him. It was as if a higher power worked through him. He was in some way divinely connected. It would be hard to describe Aurobindo's yoga in a book, let alone here in the next 5 minutes. Just to give you an idea of the magnitude, the sheer magnitude of his work, his epic poem called Savitri, which the mother said was the greatest description of his yoga, came in at 825 pages. It's the longest poem in the English language. But I can say briefly that his yoga, known as integral or supramental yoga, was founded in the Vedanta. The essential idea of Vedanta is spiritual unity. At a spiritual level, we're all one and the same. We only discover this unity if we look beyond our senses. So we are not, for example, the drops of water that fall into the ocean and then disappear. We are the ocean. And when we make that realization, we achieve enlightenment or moksha, which is liberation from the cycle of birth and death, samsara, that's really summarizes the Upanishads. We escape from the illusion of the world. Sri Aurobindo went a long way beyond that. He embraces the totality of existence. The world is not an illusion, he says, but a dynamic expression of Brahman, evolving towards greater self-realization, with consciousness progressively unfolding in matter. For me, this is, excuse my sniffle, I've got a bit of a bronchial condition. For me, this is very important. We are physical matter from which consciousness and awareness is always continually growing. So we don't move into unity from diversity, we remain within both. Aurobindo believed the next stage of our evolution involves the emergence of the supramental consciousness, which would lead to a more complete manifestation of the divine in the world. Integral yoga accepts the value of our material lives on earth, our cosmic existence, which is not an illusion but a reality. So we must enter into divinity through our bodies and senses, where anything and everything we do is an expression not of ignorance, but of the truth. That's a wonderful thought for me, because everything we do here and now on earth is touched by the divine. We simply have to realize this. That is the progress that Sri Aurobindo was describing for us. The aim of integral yoga is not merely to rise up out of the ordinary ignorant world of matter and form, up into divinity, but to bring down the supramental power of divine consciousness down into us where we live here and now, moving towards greater and greater perfection. And I just want to end by saying we must, all of us, always remember how fortunate we are. The spiritual adventure is the greatest adventure that we can take. And our greatest guides on this journey are, to whom we must surrender our lives totally and completely, are Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alexander, for your wonderful sharing. Ma उहाँको कुरालाई कुनै रिस्टेट नगरिकन, in a short, he was brought up in the Western world, पश्चिमी दुनियाँको मान्छे, around उहाँ चाहिँ 60s मा 60 को दशकमा उहाँ त्यो उमेरमा आएर अहिले वेदान्तको अध्ययन गर्ने, उहाँलाई जुन एउटा जोश या जुन एउटा रियलाइजेसन आएको छ, सायद त्यही कारण नेपालमा बसेर वाल्मिकीमा संस्कृत पढ्दै आश्रमसँग पनि जोडेर उहाँले आफ्नो लाइफलाई अहिले अध्ययनमा बिताइरहनु भएको छ। यो नै मलाई लाग्छ उहाँको जीवनको एउटा सार हो। उहाँले त्यो एउटा रियलाइज गरेर आफ्नो एउटा जीवनलाई नयाँ पथमा लान खोजिरहनु भएको छ।